Sometimes the out-of-the-box functions in Sheets are just not enough. With AppScript, you can now create custom functions which you can then use in Google Sheets. One of my favorite functions in Python is the describe function, and here's that function in Sheets that I've created with AppScript. And now I'm going to show you how I did that and teach you how to write your own functions. So we're going to go over a couple of functions today: a single input, a multiple input, a range as an input, and the describe function. To write a function in Sheets, you need to go to extensions, go to AppScript, and then you'll be open a coding interface. Write function, and then put the function name, which needs to start with a capital letter, and then we put these brackets there. Now for input, just put normal brackets around the input. I'm going to call that x, and what we want to return is that x multiplied by x multiplied by x. Things you need is a function name, a parameter, and then what you want returned. I'm just going to put a bit of narrative in here to explain what the function does, and that's cube the number. When I save this, I go back into Google Sheets, and then I can use this function. So I'm just going to press cube here, and in brackets just put my input, and then that will load and that will cube that number. When taking in multiple inputs, the only difference what we need to do is we need to just allow for two parameters. So I'm doing an x and y in here, and then I'm returning x plus y multiplied by x plus y. So that's just adding those up and squaring them. For a range, I need to accept a range as my parameter in here. So I can just call that range. This takes in the input as an array. So I'm just going to flatten that array in case I had two columns in there, just to make sure it's a 1D array, and just want to include the numbers that are in there. If there's no number values, I want it to return just the text no numeric values in range. Otherwise, I'm taking a min and max of that values, and then I'm returning those in a 1D array here. So that's in the same column, and the values will fall under each other. So min max here, taking in 5 values in here, and you'll see 1D array coming out of this, and this is just going to be cell 1 and cell 2 vertically down. So if I change one of these into non-numeric, this won't change the answer because we've allowed for that in the function. If I change them all to non-numeric, it'll then trigger that if statement and say no numeric values in range. So the Python describe function is a bit more complicated. I just want to show you the output. So this is a 1D array here, and the Python describe function is going to be a 2D array. And that's really all I want to show you about this one. So the function starts off the same. I'm doing a few more calculations in here. So I'm doing the mean, I'm doing the count, I'm doing a standard deviation, the min max as before. And these are great because you can do all your calculations within JavaScript using JavaScript in AppScript. So again, I'm sorting my values, and then I'm calculating my percentiles in here. But the most important thing here is I'm outputting this as a 2D array. So this is an array inside of array. So I'm returning an array, and inside the array, I'm saying what I want in my columns. So this will make stats and values of columns, and all the values will fall beneath those. So I'm going to take the whole column this time, 5D down to D, and then the output of that will be my describe function, and this comes out as a 2D array. All these functions are dynamic, so if I change any of the values, they'll be reflected in my two range functions which feed in from D5. The URL of the Google Sheet used today is copied in the description, so you can just copy that, see what I've done, and get going with your own functions. I'm going to make a follow-up video to this with some more advanced functions, so if you have any functions in mind you want me to create, please comment down below. And I hope you found this video useful. Follow for more.